Hello, lovelies. Welcome back to Lifestyle Chapter. On today's menu, I have for you Toolo beef jollof rice or the salted beef jollof rice. This recipe is going to be juicy, mouth-watering, packed with flavors, and I hope you enjoy watching it. If you are new to this channel, I welcome you to the family, and please do subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that, and share the videos as well. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up. So I got this Toolo beef or sort of beef from the African market. I'm going to add some onions and spring onions. And I have here my all-purpose tomato stew, which is packed with flavors. So the ingredient is going to be just a few. I'm going to now work on the Toolo beef or the salted beef. As you can see, it comes in a whole. What I'm going to do now is to cut it into my preferred size for the jollof rice. So before that, I put it in water for it to soak in it for about an hour. Because of the salt, it has so much salt in it. That is how it is preserved. So I don't want too much salt in the jollof rice, so I decided to put it in some water, and then I took it out, and now I'm cutting it into the preferred size that I want. In this case, it will help me to soak it again in water. That is the plan on what I'm doing, and also it will help me to get the sizes that I want for the jollof rice. So as you can see, I'm cutting it into smaller sizes. This way it makes it more easier. For your jollof rice. And this Toolo beef is not, it's almost like the one we have back home, but it is a little bit different because the ones that we have back home, you have the original taste, but this is somehow close to it. So we'll still do with this. So I'm now done cutting the salted beef. I'm transferring it into a bowl. In this bowl, I'm going to add in some water. And I will let it sit for about 2 hours because I don't want too much salt. It is packed with salt and I want some of the salt out. So that is what I'm going to do to get most of the salt out. Now I'm working on the onions. With Toolo beef, it's just like doing anguamo or doing oiled rice. You always have to have your onions, and I love cooking with a lot of onions. If you want your cook to be delicious, tasty, I'll tell you to add a lot of onions when making your food. I love onions, so I decided to add the yellow onions to it. And that is what I'm slicing. I'm done slicing them, so I will put them in the plate and set aside. And so I realized that I had some spring onions as well in the refrigerator, and I said, why don't I add this up to make it more flavorful, the jollof rice more flavorful? So I washed it and cleaned it, and now I'm cutting the onion part, which I'll be adding it to the sliced onions to start the jollof rice. And then the green part, that is the scallions, I will use it after because I'll be using that for my garnish. So I'll continue cutting the spring or green onions. And it has this great aroma, so it makes your food very delicious. I will add it up to the sliced onions, and then I'm done. Now, after 2 hours, I went back to the Toolo beef or the sorted beef, and it looks like the water itself is so salty. So I just drained it off. And now I have my pot for the jollof rice ready. I poured in a cup of olive oil, which I'm allowing it to heat up. To that, I will add in the sliced onions, the red and then the yellow onions. Stir it, and then I'll let it fry until it's transparent or almost caramelized. As you can see, I'm trying to open them up because they are stuck together, so it'll be easier for it to be fried. And then to that, I'll add in the spring or the green onions to give it more flavor, and I'll stir everything up. I'll let it cook for about 3 minutes. And then to that, I'll add in the salted beef or the Toolo beef. This way, I want the juices of the onions to be infused in the Toolo beef, and it is going to give it a massive flavor. And then the aroma here is just out of this world. So as you can see, there is this foaminess in there is because of the salt and then the oil. That is why you can see the foaminess on it. But still, it is cooking. All the juices is get it infused into the Toolo beef to give it more taste. So look how it's looking right now. Here, I will add in my all-purpose tomato stew that I made. I'm going to link it up to this video. If you haven't seen it, you can have a look at it and then see how this was achieved. So in this case, this tomato stew is already flavor packed, and I'm not going to add any spices or flavors or anything else to it. Everything is in there in the stew already, so it's just a matter of incorporating the beef, the Toolo beef, and then the onions and everything together. And I'm telling you, the aroma here is so good. So I'm making sure I stir it well for everything to incorporate well. And then I'll leave it to cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. Here is my Jasmine rice, my favorite rice. I love this rice. So I have about four or 5 cups of that. And then I'm washing it under running water. As you can see, the water has turned white. That is the carbs in the rice. I'm trying to make sure all the carbs, most of them go out, because when it does, you see that the water has turned clear or white. So I'm going to continuously wash it until I see that the water has turned clear. That way it shows that most of the carbs on the rice is drained off. So I'm taking my time to wash it thoroughly. This way it doesn't let your rice stick together also. So as you can see, the water has turned clear. I'm draining it off now, and then back to my stew. I'll stir it. It looks good. Now it's time for me to add in the rice. So I'm adding in the rice in bits. Here I'll stir everything up together. You have to make sure around this time you stir it well for the rice to incorporate very well with the stew. And also you stir it to the bottom of the pot so it doesn't get burnt. And here I'll be toasting the rice, so I wouldn't add any water to it. I'm just toasting the rice in the stew. I'm continuously stirring the rice to incorporate well in the stew. So now I'll allow the rice to toast in the stew for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I come back to it, and then I'll stir all the way to the bottom to make sure the rice is not stuck or it's not getting burnt over there. And this way it helps the grain of the rice to come in singles. It doesn't get stuck together. So I'm opening it up, and then I'll add in some water. You have to be patient around this time because you don't want your rice to be mushy. You want your rice to be fluffy and come out single grained. So you don't put in too much water here. So I put in about a cup of water, and then I'm stirring gently, and you have to make sure your heat should be between medium to low heat. You don't want it to get burnt. You want it to burn. You want it to cook by itself without any pressure. So that's what you have to do. So I'm continuously stirring, and then I will cover it up. After another 5 minutes, I come back to it to see if the water was enough or I need more water. But it looks like it's cooking gradually. So I'll continue to stir for the heat to hit the places where it hasn't. And then I'll cover it up with an aluminum foil. This way it will trap the heat and it will help the rice cook beautifully. So I'll allow it to cook for about 10 minutes. And this is how it's looking. It is still not done cooking, but I want to stir it so it doesn't get burnt. You should be here to smell it. The whole house is smelling so good. The flavors and everything is just on point. And I want you to know that I haven't even put in any salt because of the sorted beef. It's already salty, and I was trying to take most of the salt out, so I haven't had any salt in it, and it tastes perfect. So look at it now, lovelies. Our rice is all done. Look how fluffy and beautiful it's looking. The Toolo beef jollof rice or the salted beef jollof rice is done. I'm stirring again to make sure it doesn't get stuck in the bottom or bent. That is why I'm taking the time to do that. And so, lovelies, I hope you loved watching this video and you give it a try. I'm telling you, you'll love this recipe. It's so simple, easy to make. If you have your all-purpose tomato stew, you don't have to do much. And here is my scallions or my chopped the green part of the spring onions that I'm adding to it to give it that attractive color. I hope you enjoyed watching and you will definitely try it. I know you will. See how beautiful this is looking. So this is how our Toolo beef or salted beef jollof rice is made. I hope you enjoyed watching. So lovelies, here is our Toolo beef or the salted beef jollof rice I'm dishing out. I also made some spinach salad that I'm going to enjoy this with. And I tell you, it's going to be the bomb. Look how single and fluffy it's looking. And I'm going to add in some salad. And mine, oh mine, you should be here to try this with me. I'm telling you, you just love it. I can't wait to taste it. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I'm just going out of this world. Lovelies. It is so good. It tastes great. I'm loving every little bit of it. So I hope you give it a try. And then let me know how you did when you made your Toolo beef jollof rice. I'll put all the ingredients and then the measurements down below. Bye.